Every night, while you are asleep, your brain does something remarkable. It runs a cleaning cycle. A network of channels opens up throughout the brain tissue. Cerebrospinal fluid flows through them, flushing out metabolic waste products that have accumulated throughout the day. Among the things being cleared are two proteins, amyloid beta and tau, which, when they build up, are directly linked to Alzheimer's disease and cognitive decline. This system is called the glymphatic system, and it is almost entirely active during one specific stage of sleep: deep sleep, slow-wave sleep, the kind that most men over 60 are getting far less of than they realize. Research published in 2025 confirmed in humans what had previously been shown in animal models. The glymphatic system clears amyloid beta and tau from the brain into the bloodstream during sleep, and sleep disruption significantly impairs this clearance. In plain terms, if you are not getting adequate deep sleep, your brain is not being cleaned properly, and the waste products linked to dementia are accumulating faster than they should. That is what is happening inside your head tonight, and most men over 60 have no idea. By the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly why your sleep after 60 is biologically different from the sleep you had at 40. What is changing in your brain and your hormones? What those changes mean for your heart, your muscle, your testosterone, and your cognitive health. And what the research supports for improving it without sleeping pills and without the generic advice you have already heard. Stay with me, because halfway through this video, I am going to tell you about a finding so counterintuitive that most men push back when they first hear it. A finding about the timing of something you do every day, or do not do, that may be one of the most impactful and lowest cost changes available for sleep quality after 60. Let me start with what actually happens to sleep after 60, not the symptoms. The biology. Sleep is not a single state. It is a structured sequence of stages that cycle through the night. Light sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep. A full cycle takes approximately 90 minutes, and a healthy night contains 4 to 6 of these cycles. The most important stage for physical repair is slow-wave sleep, also called deep sleep or N3. This is when growth hormone is released, when muscle repair occurs, when the immune system consolidates its responses, when the glymphatic system runs its cleaning cycle. In a young adult, slow-wave sleep makes up approximately 20% of total sleep time. Research confirms that this decreases by around 2% per decade from young adulthood, resulting in a cumulative decline of roughly 75% between the ages of 20 and 60. By the early 70s, time in deep sleep may be as little as 5% of total sleep time. 75%. Gone. And most men have no idea this has happened because the number of hours spent in bed has not changed much. What has changed is the architecture, the depth, the quality of what those hours contain. Think of it like this. Imagine you had a car that used to run a full maintenance cycle every night: engine check, fluid flush, filter clean. Now it runs the same maintenance program, but 75% of the cycle gets skipped. The car still starts in the morning, it still drives, but the accumulation of unaddressed wear is building beneath the surface, invisible, every single night. That is your brain after 60, without deep sleep. Simultaneously, the hormonal landscape of sleep shifts dramatically. Research confirms that growth hormone secretion during sleep declines by approximately 80% between ages 20 and 60. This matters enormously for the men in this series who are working on rebuilding muscle, because the growth hormone released during deep sleep is the primary biological signal that drives overnight muscle protein synthesis. The protein you ate and the training you did that day produces far less muscle repair than it should if your deep sleep is compromised. At the same time, cortisol tends to be higher in older adults, particularly in the early morning hours. Cortisol and growth hormone work in opposition. More cortisol, less growth hormone effect. Less deep sleep, less growth hormone. It is a compounding disadvantage that men over 60 are navigating every night without knowing it. And then there is testosterone. Research consistently shows that testosterone is closely tied to sleep quality and duration. One study found that sleeping 5 hours per night for just 1 week reduced testosterone in young men by 10 to 15%, an effect equivalent to 10 to 15 years of aging. For men over 60 who are already experiencing age-related testosterone decline, chronic sleep disruption compounds that decline significantly. I want to tell you about a patient I will call Thomas. Thomas was 64. He came to me complaining of low energy, reduced motivation, and what he described as not feeling like himself for the past 2 years. His GP had tested his testosterone and found it in the low normal range. Not low enough to treat, but not optimal. He had been told this was likely age-related. What his GP had not asked about was his sleep. When I took a detailed sleep history, the picture became clear. Thomas was in bed for 7.5 hours every night. But he was waking 2 to 3 times, usually between 2 and 4 in the morning, lying awake for 30 to 40 minutes each time before returning to sleep. He had been doing this for years and had accepted it as just how sleep was in his 60s. It was not just how sleep was, it was fragmented sleep architecture, and it was suppressing his growth hormone output, elevating his morning cortisol, and directly amplifying the testosterone decline that had made his GP's lab result look borderline. Thomas did not need testosterone therapy. He needed his sleep fixed. We are going to come back to what we did for Thomas. But first, the counterintuitive finding I promised you. Here is the finding that surprises most men. Research published in Frontiers in Sleep, studying community-dwelling older men specifically, found that the timing of natural light exposure during the day, not just how much light you get, but when you get it, has a meaningful association with sleep fragmentation. Specifically, afternoon light exposure, occurring approximately 6 to 7 hours after waking, showed the strongest association with consolidated, less fragmented sleep in older adults. Morning light, which is what almost all sleep advice focuses on, was less predictive of sleep quality in older men in this study than afternoon light. This matters because after 60, the circadian rhythm, the internal biological clock, weakens in amplitude. Its signal becomes less robust. The morning to evening contrast that anchors a younger person's sleep-wake cycle becomes less pronounced. And what this research suggests is that getting adequate natural light in the early to mid-afternoon may help recalibrate that circadian signal more effectively in older adults than morning light exposure alone. This does not mean morning light is unimportant. It means that for men over 60, getting outside or near a bright window in the afternoon, a walk, time in a garden, sitting near a window with the blinds open around mid-afternoon, may be one of the most evidence-consistent, completely free interventions for improving sleep architecture that exists. Now let me walk you through the other major factors disrupting sleep in men over 60, because understanding them is what makes the solutions make sense. The first is alcohol, and I say this knowing it is not what most men want to hear. Alcohol is widely used as a sleep aid by men over 60. It reduces the time it takes to fall asleep. The problem is what it does to sleep architecture in the second half of the night. Alcohol suppresses REM sleep and slow-wave sleep after it is metabolized, producing the characteristic pattern of waking at 2 or 3 in the morning, feeling alert and unable to return to sleep. A drink or two at dinner feels like it helps, but it is borrowing sleep from the hours when repair and brain cleaning actually occur. You are taking from the 25% you have left. The second is bedroom temperature. Core body temperature needs to drop by approximately 1 to 2 degrees Celsius for deep sleep to initiate and sustain. After 60, the thermoregulatory mechanisms that drive this drop become less efficient. A bedroom that is even slightly too warm, above 18 to 19 degrees Celsius, can meaningfully suppress deep sleep stages in older adults. It is a simple variable. It is almost never discussed in a GP appointment. The third is medications, and this connects directly to episode 1 of this series. Certain beta blockers suppress melatonin production by blocking the receptors in the pineal gland that signal nighttime. Some prostate medications alter bladder function in ways that increase nocturnal waking. Diuretics taken in the evening drive nighttime urination. The medication review we discussed in the very first video of this series, asking your doctor to go through every drug at the right dose for who you are today, is one of the most important sleep interventions available for men on multiple long-term prescriptions. The fourth is obstructive sleep apnea, and this brings us back to Thomas. Thomas had it. He did not know. No one had ever asked. Research estimates that obstructive sleep apnea affects nearly 46% of older adults. In men specifically, it becomes increasingly prevalent after 60 and is significantly underdiagnosed. OSA works by causing repeated microarousals through the night, brief interruptions to breathing that fragment sleep continuously, most of which the person is completely unaware of. You do not feel yourself waking. You simply never reach deep sleep or stay there. If you snore regularly, if your partner has noticed pauses in your breathing, or if you consistently wake feeling unrefreshed despite adequate time in bed, this is not an inconvenience. It is a clinical condition that requires evaluation, not acceptance. Now, what actually helps? A 2025 umbrella review in Frontiers in Neurology synthesized evidence on non-pharmacological interventions for sleep in older adults, drawing on systematic reviews up to July 2024. I want to share the most important findings directly. The first and most consistently supported intervention is exercise. A 2025 meta-analysis in Frontiers in Medicine, analyzing randomized controlled trials on exercise and sleep quality in older adults up to May 2025, found that exercise interventions significantly improve sleep quality. The effect was consistent across different types. Both aerobic and resistance training showed benefit. Timing matters. Exercise completed in the morning or early afternoon is more consistently associated with sleep benefit than late evening exercise, which can delay sleep onset in some individuals. For the men in this series who have already started a resistance training program based on what we discussed in episode 4, you are already working on your sleep, not just your muscle. These things are not separate. They are the same intervention, producing benefits across multiple systems simultaneously. The second intervention is sleep regularity, and this is the one that surprises people most with the strength of its evidence. Research published in 2024 found that participants with the highest sleep regularity scores, those who went to bed and woke at the most consistent times, regardless of the absolute hours slept, had a 30% lower risk of all-cause mortality compared to the least regular quintile. Not sleep duration alone, regularity, the consistency of the timing. Think of your circadian clock like an old mechanical watch. It still works, but it needs consistent winding to keep accurate time. The most powerful signal that winds it is not a supplement or a medication. It is the time you wake up. Setting a consistent wake time, the same time every day, including weekends, even when you slept poorly the night before, is the most reliable way to recalibrate the circadian clock in older adults. It is boring. It is the least dramatic sleep advice that exists, and it is the most consistently supported. The third intervention is light and temperature management. Getting outside or near bright natural light in the afternoon, as we discussed earlier. Keeping the bedroom cool, around 17 to 18 degrees Celsius. These are not suggestions. They are direct interventions in the biological mechanisms that govern deep sleep stages in aging adults. And the fourth, which brings us back to Thomas, is addressing the specific causes of your sleep disruption rather than accepting disrupted sleep as a fact of aging. Thomas's sleep was being fragmented by a combination of factors: 2 glasses of wine with dinner, a bedroom that was too warm, undiagnosed mild sleep apnea, identified through a home sleep study, and an evening routine that included checking his phone in bed until he fell asleep, suppressing the melatonin signal his brain needed to initiate deep sleep. We addressed each of these specifically, not with sleeping pills, with targeted changes based on what was actually driving his fragmentation. Within 8 weeks, his sleep had measurably improved. His morning energy was different. His motivation had returned in a way that surprised him. His follow-up testosterone level, taken 3 months later, had risen into the optimal range, without any hormonal intervention. His testosterone had not changed, his sleep had, and that was enough. Let me bring this entire series together. Over these 5 videos, we have talked about 5 interconnected systems that shape the health of men over 60 in ways that most standard medical care does not fully address. Medications, and how the cumulative effects of long-term drug use on the gut, the hormones, and the body go beyond what any single prescription was designed to manage. The gut microbiome, and how the bacteria in your digestive tract regulate brain chemistry, immune function, and the absorption of the nutrients your body needs to function and repair. Inflammaging, the chronic low-grade inflammatory state that accumulates with age and drives cardiovascular disease, cognitive decline, muscle loss, and fatigue simultaneously. Sarcopenia, the progressive muscle loss that most men are experiencing silently, driven by inflammation, gut health, sleep deprivation, and the compounding effects of long-term medication. And sleep, the biological foundation that connects all of it, where growth hormone is released, where muscle is repaired, where the brain cleans itself, where testosterone is partly regulated, and where, it turns out, you can measure the health of all the other systems. These are not 5 separate problems. They are one system, and improving any one of them supports all the others. Here is the one thing I want you to do tonight. Choose a wake time, one that you can commit to for 3 weeks, not for 1 day. 3 weeks, the same time every morning, regardless of when you fell asleep or how many times you woke. That single discipline, the most boring-sounding piece of sleep advice that exists, has the most consistent evidence behind it for recalibrating the aging circadian clock. And it costs nothing. If this series has given you something genuinely useful over these 5 videos, I have one request. Share it with one man in your life who needs to hear it. A friend, a brother, a father, someone whose doctor is running the standard blood panel and telling him everything looks fine, while he wakes up exhausted every morning wondering what is wrong. Nothing is wrong that cannot be understood, and most of what can be understood can be improved. Subscribe, because this conversation is far from over. Before I go, I want to plant something in your mind. We have talked about 5 systems across this series: medications, gut, inflammation, muscle, sleep. Every single one of them is influenced, directly, measurably, by something we have not yet discussed. Not a supplement, not a drug, not a specific food or exercise program. The state of your mind after 60. And I want to give you one number before the next video, so you understand why this matters as much as it does. A 2024 study using data from over 6,000 adults with a mean age of 60 found that men living alone, socially isolated, had significantly elevated levels of a systemic inflammation marker called SUPAR, even after controlling for age, smoking, and other health factors. A separate nationally representative study of older adults found that social isolation was independently associated with higher levels of both IL-6 and CRP, the exact same inflammatory markers we discussed in episode 3 when we talked about inflammaging. Social isolation, loneliness, the loss of purpose that comes with retirement, the quiet disconnection that builds when a man's identity was wrapped around his work, and that work is suddenly gone. These are not soft problems. They are not emotional problems. They are biological ones. They raise the same inflammatory markers that damage the heart, the brain, and the muscle. They disrupt the same sleep we spent this entire video discussing, and they affect a far larger proportion of men over 60 than most people in healthcare want to acknowledge. In the next video, we are going to talk about the mental health of men after 60, not as emotional advice, as biology, as measurable physiology, with real mechanisms and real interventions that change how your body ages, because you have spent 5 videos learning how your body works after 60. It is time to talk about the part that connects all of it. I will see you there.